Good morning, Dubai. It is nearly the weekend. Can you smell it? Can you feel it? Guys, if you listen to this podcast, we would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Today's show started with a bit of an anticlimax for poor Simran, who's been through the wars.
I've been scammed. I've been scammed by the oldest scam in the book. I literally cannot believe what an airhead I am to have fallen for such a scam.
You're not an airhead. We talked about how you can get scammed and how you can, not how you can get scammed, but also how you can stop yourself from getting scammed. Yeah. We talked about Emirates hiring spree, 17,000 new employees in the year and a 3 billion annual profit. We also talked about no more rent checks in Dubai. Are you waving goodbye to old, slightly annoying payment systems?
I am so happy to hear about that. I mean, honestly, this is what Dubai residents need, a different way to pay their rents. Also, we spoke about Stray Dog Center and honestly how they just need the community's help right now. They rescue so many dogs, and one of the dogs they just recently rescued passed away. They found him in a very horrible condition, a very sweet
so
husky.
Sad what's happening at these rescue shelters.
Yeah, it's tragic.
We also touched on a taboo topic, of course, in the region of virginity testing. There's an amazing podcast out right now with Lovin Hamdan as the host, and she got a doctor's perspective on the controversial topic. Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through all of the top trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. Our top story: Emirates, a record-breaking year, and they've hired 17,000 new employees.
We'll also be talking about the husky that was rescued by Stray Dog Center UAE has tragically passed away.
Super sad story there. And also, is it time to say goodbye to rent checks in Dubai? There is a new app which could disrupt rent payments as we know it.
And the truth about virginity testing, debunking harmful myths in the Middle East. So we'll be getting to that as well later on in the show.
And then also later in the show, guys, Dubai Comedy Festival is starting today, and then it will be ongoing. It's starting with Sushi Mango down at the Coca-Cola Arena. Some huge acts, one such which is at Suko. She's a famous, super talented American comedian, and Shahir got to chat with her earlier in the week, so that's going to be going live later today. But before we get into all of that, it's a happy Friday. Good morning to you all, except for dodgy scammers. Simran, I'm sorry. You have to tell them. You have to tell them.
So it's really painful to talk about this, but let's just do it. Let's just establish what an airhead I am, first of all.
No, you're not an airhead. You're not an airhead.
Getting that out of the way.
You're not an airhead.
Like the oldest scam in the book I fell for.
It's not the oldest. It's very new.
No, it's not.
It's new.
It's literally the oldest. And me being so sheltered and in a bubble my whole life and just making payments the right way and not using Dubizzle to sell but to buy, finally I got on the platform to sell something.
Simran was about to have a new career. Your side hustle was about to flourish, and you were like ding, 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 money, 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 and then...
Yeah, honestly, like it got to me.
Like, that 50 dirham profit just flashed lights. You just tell them.
Okay, so I went on Dubizzle to sell a lamp.
Which we spoke about on the show.
It really cost me a lot more than 200 dirhams at this point. I'll tell you that much. So I went on, I advertised for 280, was happy to sell for 200. Someone got in touch with me saying they're willing to pay 250 for it. I'm just like, oh my God, 250 for a 200 dirham lamp? Like I am just winning in life, like winning. So she messages me on WhatsApp. And I messaged her on WhatsApp.
Okay.
She, apparently.
Was there a picture?
She did put a picture of like this really nice South Asian couple. Okay, and I thought like very reliable,
couple.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Like I trust her blindly. And her name was Stella.
I trust her blindly. I've seen her photo. I like her chat. I trust her blindly. I don't think. Okay.
I hate myself. And then what happened after that was yeah, so I messaged her on WhatsApp with more pictures, and she's like, you know what, fine, I'll take it. I'm just going to make this a very quick process for you because I know you're working and all those things. It's a very generic message, right? And she's like, I'm going to send you a link. You just have to open the link and you'll get your payment. And then the same time you can schedule what time you want to get the delivery guys to come and pick up your lamp, and they can do it at your convenience and they'll drop it to my house. And don't worry, all that cost is on me. You won't have to pay a dime for that. And I'm just like, okay, that's so convenient. Like, that's amazing. It just takes like a 2-second link click and then everything happens like so fast. And I'm like, by the way, they can come and pick it up from my house tomorrow. And I send her my house address. And I'm just like, wow, this is all happening so fast.
Why don't people do this more often? You know, if they're just going to come and collect it, send the guys.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, Dubai has become so advanced. And the way all of this backfires, and Casey was beside me when I was like just doing the not transaction, I was like clicking on the link. I'm like, Casey, I made a $50 profit on my lamp, and you were impressed. Yeah. And then 2 seconds later, Casey, I got hacked. Casey, I got hacked.
My heart just broke for like making that $50 profit. You were just breaking it in, and then. So it wasn't just one hack.
No, so I'll tell you how it happened. So it was very stupid on my part. So the link that I opened, it's like, put in all your card details. I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I did it anyway. In the moment, I just didn't think about it. I was questioning it, but I didn't question it too much also because I'm like, you know what, something good is happening, just go with it. I put in my card details. It asks for my CVV. It gets me and asks for authentication code. I put in the authentication code. And I'm really at that point thinking I messed up somewhere. 3 seconds later, I got subscribed to Google Pay. I'm like, I never subscribed to Google Pay, but maybe this is part of the process. Trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. 4 seconds later, 384 dirhams gone. 3 minutes later, another 300 and something amount gone. And then Casey's like, lock your card, lock your card, lock your card. I go to lock my card and another amount is gone. Yeah.
Stella!
I
don't think that's your real name, but you and you dodgy scammers.
Ukrainian number.
It's middle of the month, you know? It's not an easy time.
It's just not.
So, learning?
That I am an airhead.
No, it's very easy. This situation reminded me to call my mom. No one's going to ask you for details. No one's going to ask you for bank details. If you think it's too good to be true, it is. If you're selling a 200 dirham lamp on Dubizzle and they're going to do it, it's too good to be true. It never is. You never are going to make that profit that easily.
I was like really planning out my life for that 50 extra dirhams.
No.
Curses?
Curse Stella.
It's not even Stella. It's probably like...
I know, but...
Not even a female.
Yeah.
Females would never do this.
Did you report it on the Dubai Police app?
No, I didn't. I went to my bank and they were like not at all helpful. They're just like, you did this to yourself. Contact the merchant and try to stop the payment. I contact the merchant and the merchant is like, give us receipts. I'm like, where do I get the receipts? Where do I get the receipts?
If that ever happens to you, block your card immediately. Yes. Do report it. I don't know about your bank in specific, but I know this happened to a friend of mine and he got half of the money back by the bank as soon as it happened. It was larger sums, but still.
But I think it happens in cases where the person themselves haven't given out their CVV or haven't given out like, their details.
He hadn't actually.
Yeah. Because a lot of people message me saying like, contact your bank, they'll help you out. But the bank is like, listen, you did this to yourself. You gave out your CVV, you gave out your codes. So this is something you gotta like, pretty much.
Well, Sibir didn't want to talk about this on the show, but it's so important because, as you said, Dubai's come on, there's a lot of these types of scams and they can come in so many forms, whether it's an unsuspecting phone call, an email into your inbox, or when you're making a sale and then they come at you from the Aramex account. So it's just going to happen in so many ways and we need to be vigilant. Dubai Police, Sharjah Police, they are on it constantly with lots of type of information schemes ongoing. But at the same time, we just need to be as vigilant as possible. So that's why it was important to share this story. Thank you. Because it can happen. And we just need to remind ourselves every now and then because I get so many of those emails when my parcels are coming. And then it's like, oh, just pay the 4 dirham delivery charge. Because, sometimes customs, who knows? Who knows these things? Yeah. But you have to check the seller to see where it came from. So easy to get caught.
Yeah. I walked so you guys can run. I got scammed so you guys wouldn't have to. Like Jitin, okay? Jitin!
Our colleague.
He showed me his message and the same thing happened to him. But he
Stella
was like,
again.
A different Stella, different profile pictures, same exact conversation. And he's like, no, I'm not putting my card details. You can pay to me in cash.
There you go. Always get that cash. Speaking of getting that cash, Emirates, $3 billion annual profit. 2022, 2023, groundbreaking, and 17,000 new hires. What a year it has been for the Emirates Group. They just announced its most profitable year yet, which is just fantastic considering the COVID pandemic and all of that recovery, making an impressive annual profit of 10.9 billion dirhams for the year 2022-2023. This is a remarkable financial achievement and a complete turnaround after last year's loss position.
Now, but the good news doesn't stop there. Emirates and Danata ramped up their recruitment across the globe and hired more than 17,000 employees last year alone. This means that the group's total workforce has increased by 20% to 102,379 employees, representing over 116 different nationalities.
So in the last year, they held so many open days, including in several cities, to fill the vacancies in several fields as well, like software engineering, DevOps, hybrid cloud, agile delivery, technical product management, digital workspace, cybersecurity, IT, architecture, innovation, and service management. And in December, also, the group conducted open days in several cities across Europe to hire new cabin crew. Now, if you're looking for a job with Emirates, there are almost 200 open vacancies on the group's career website. And with more than half of those openings available in the UAE, if you are job hunting, Emirates are doing well and they might need your services.
100%, and we know how their benefits are, so definitely that's something you want to check out if you're looking for a job, like Casey said. And this news is not only good for Emirates Group, but also for the aviation industry as a whole. And the group's success and recruitment drive demonstrates the industry and how it's bouncing back from the pandemic, and the demand for air travel is on the rise once again. Hallelujah. Please, 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 universe, don't put anything in the way of this. Don't put anything in the way of this. If aviation and the travel industry is back on the rise, it's just a very good sign. You just don't want anything coming in the way of that, be that another, pandemic, just anything.
Don't even put it out there.
No, don't even put it out there. No.
But what's interesting is it has been such a remarkable turnaround, as we said at the beginning of the segment. And His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, this is all part of the vision to become a global hub for transport, by the way. And he said, in times of crisis, makes us stronger, and each passing year further strengthens our resolve to remain at the forefront globally. So this has been such a remarkable turnaround, and what an incredible financial achievement. $3 billion in profit for the last year, and their most successful year yet, and they're hiring. So it's just as a story from Dubai, which has come from, place of sand to now become such an incredible trade hub and international travel hub. It's just truly spectacular, and we are in the middle of it, documenting every second. It's so exciting.
100%. And when you go out there and you speak to anyone who is remotely in the aviation industry, like be it any field, the number one company for them to get into is Emirates. It's established that brand for itself across the world. Like Emirates is like the number one go-to aviation brand if you want to get into the industry, if you want to work in any department whatsoever. So I mean, of course, the benefits and the way they treat their employees, and just the brand that how it's known worldwide.
Yeah, how it's known worldwide, and also the brand recognition here. We always find that whenever we share stories about Emirates, people there's just massive engagement because people are so proud of that homegrown story. And also, it's that thing of just getting on an Emirates flight, you feel like you've leveled up.
100%.
I'm talking economy. I'm happy to get onto an Emirates economy flight as opposed to others. I'm just very comfortable, very nice. It's that music, though. We love that music, don't we?
I forgot, but yeah. Oh my God, it's such a comforting tune. It's like years later, if they change it, this tune right now is going to just remind us of this very, moment, century, time in life. But it's iconic. I remember back in the days when we used to fly Emirates, and they used to give us these stuffed toys, and they used to give us Cat in the Hat books, all these small things for kids.
They still give things for kids.
Oh, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
I thought they stopped, but then I just stopped being
You just got older. Yeah. I don't know if maybe not Cat in the Hat, but I know that they do that cute photo thing where they'll take a picture of the family together, and they give you a Polaroid. And then kids always get their food first, and they get little toys. Yeah, maybe it's longer flights, so maybe it's got there's a limit on the length of time. But anyone from Emirates who can confirm this, that would be fantastic.
I want a kid just for those freebies.
That is the right reasons to bring a child into this world,
right? I thought you weren't even gonna hang. They leave me hanging.
Anyway, remarkable story there. And if you want more on the figures, Farah M wrote a great article last night, and it's available on Lovin Dubai.
And our next story is the husky that was rescued by Stray Dog Center UAE has tragically passed away. Now, we'll start with a quote. Now, the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. That was said by Mahatma Gandhi. Now, in a world that often feels cold and uncaring, it's easy to forget about the innocent and helpless creatures that also call it home. But for Stray Dog Center in Al Quwain, UAE, this is a reality that they confront every single day, and they're on the front lines of rescuing abandoned and injured stray dogs, fighting against all odds to keep these beautiful creatures alive and finding them loving homes. Now, their latest rescue was a husky on the brink of death.
But Stray Dog Center were there to intervene. They got the husky the necessary treatment. However, despite their efforts, unfortunately, the husky passed away on Thursday, despite all best efforts to save his life. But now they're facing a crisis of their own. As you guys know, the bills can pile up. They run everything themselves. It's volunteer only, and they're struggling to make ends meet. Recently, they posted a plea on social media looking for support, hoping their loyal followers would step up and support their mission. So this account, Stray Dog Center on Instagram, has 90,000 followers. However, they got responses from 65 people, even though these posts can reach over 90,000 people. So 677 dogs need a sponsor.
Now, the Stray Dog Center take in a high volume of rescues in the UAE, and this is a testament to their tireless dedication and hard work. But of course, it isn't an allocate. They celebrate. It's a burden they bear, as said by them. And the lives of 977 dogs are in their hands, and they're doing everything they can to help keep them safe and healthy. And as they said themselves, they've run out of options. They need the community to help out, and they need it right now. And they've dedicated their lives to rescuing and caring for these vulnerable creatures, but they cannot do it alone.
And as you guys know, every little helps, whether it's sponsoring a dog or simply sharing a message to your platform with your friends and followers, getting in touch with them, seeing if there's anything you can do, whether it's time, support, any type of donation that you can make. They would appreciate it. And there's Stray Dog Center. There's also a couple of other shelters in the Canine Friends. There's a couple of other shelters that need your support. So if you're seeing this and you need a little reminder, this is it, to get in touch and see if there's any way that you can help them out.
100%. You can even go and volunteer at the shelters. You can carry like blankets. You can donate whatever items you want from your house if appropriate enough. Also, speaking of like the abandoned husky, like I remember like years ago, there was such a craze for huskies and like, oh, I want a husky, like these beautiful, beautiful dogs that are just not designed for, you know, this climate. They're designed for the cold. And somehow like they did come into the country, and a lot of homes started owning huskies. And now you see an abandoned husky on the road. Like, are you serious?
So true.
Like how, like where is the compassion? Like you have these beautiful, beautiful dogs. Not that it should be done to any dog, but like in just talking about the story in specific, like how, you know, they found a husky on the road, like on the brink of death. Like how cruel are people? Because you know it's not just like it's not a street dog, right? It's like definitely a dog that was abandoned.
It's so true. And it's actually so shocking when you follow these pages to see the number of animals that are abandoned. And just as you think, as we come into the hotter months, animals will find it very it's impossibly difficult for them to fend for themselves, especially if they've come from homes. So if you can also adopt, don't shop. So rather than sponsor, you could maybe take a puppy home. But let's jump into our next story. Speaking of home, no more rent checks. Is this the time to say goodbye to old school payments in Dubai? Is this the news you've been manifesting? I know I've messed up on dodgy signatures before, so this could be the end of that. A first of its kind service will mean residents can finally pay for rent monthly rather than traditionally the quarterly, biannually, or some people actually pay their rent yearly.
Yeah, so created by Caper, Rent Now Pay Later RNPL will make financial planning that little bit easier for residents, and residents who sign up to the program will be introduced this summer. Will be able to pay rent monthly using a credit card. So not only will it be easier to map out your monthly finances, but you'll also earn rewards on your credit card.
Waleed Shahabibi, the co-founder and CSO at Keeper, revealed the news along with how the user experience works for both tenants and landlords. He revealed this on Dubai Works, a Smashy Business podcast, and you can hear the full Dubai Works podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podify, or subscribe to more business and tech news on Smashy TV. So, will you be signing up? Now, I'd like to get some clarity on if you're using, so one, using a credit card is great because you're going to earn rewards on your rental payment. So that's a big chunk of rewards right there. Then obviously if you miss a payment, what will that mean? So maybe we should question that.
Yeah, true. I mean, I would prefer these payments coming from my debit card and not my credit card. But I mean, if that is the system, I don't know. I still prefer credit cards over checks, but debit cards over credit cards.
It's just, I think the overall of being able to pay your rent in a smaller amount of time, or in a less financial planning, is because what we can do is, I know me, I pay 4 times a year. So you're putting that aside. But then also you're thinking, oh, I've got this big chunk of money. It's
going every 3 months?
Every 3 months. So I'm not a great financial planner. So I think definitely paying monthly would be easier. And also then on the landlord side, they can take a slight loss overall, but they can actually still ask for the yearly payment, and Keeper will front that to them. Like I said, at a small loss, but that means that they can still get their amount a year in advance.
Okay, that's interesting. But we know like the amount of issues people and residents face with checks. Like you said, like signature being number one, inconsistency with signatures, and like maybe like the spelling is wrong, the word is wrong. So many things can go wrong with checks. And it's like you have to face the penalty when the check bounces as well. So it's...
And also when you pass your check to your landlord, they take it to the bank and they say it hasn't been accepted, but they're still sitting there with your check. So in a case that happened to me recently, that just transfer the money, and I'm like, well, you have my check.
You need to ask for the check back.
You need to ask the check back, but it's this whole revolving thing of like, I'd rather just send the money because maybe it's like closer to the time and I need to, but at the same time you're sitting there with a check. So there's a lot of kind of trust involved.
Very true.
And in these day and age, you have to be very careful. So the digitalized payment system for rent, for both landlords and tenants, this could revolutionize it. It's an app called Keeper if you're interested.
That is so true. We'll move on to our next story now, the truth about virginity testing and debunking harmful myths in the Middle East. So virginity has always been a topic of discussion in the Middle East, and for centuries the idea of virginity has been associated with a woman's worth and honor, and the belief that a woman's virginity should be protected until marriage is deeply ingrained in many Middle Eastern cultures and cultures around the world. And unfortunately this has led to several misconceptions about virginity, including the belief that a woman's virginity can be tested by a medical professional. Now, in a recent interview by OBGYN Dr. Dima Salem and journalist Lubna Hamdan, they discuss the myths surrounding virginity testing in the Middle East. And according to Dr. Salim, there is no exam that can determine whether a woman is a virgin or not.
She said the idea that a doctor can examine a woman's hymen to determine if she is a virgin or not is a myth that has been perpetrated for centuries. The belief in virginity testing has led to several harmful practices, including the husband stitch, which is a surgical procedure performed after childbirth to tighten the vaginal opening. This procedure is based on the idea that a woman's husband will want her to be virginal after giving birth. However, the procedure can cause severe pain, discomfort, and even permanent damage to a woman's body.
So virginity testing is not only harmful but also outdated. The idea that a woman's worth is based on her virginity is archaic concept that has no place in modern society. Women should not be judged based on their sexual history or lack thereof, and everyone should have the right to make their own choices about their body and their sexuality without the fear of judgment or harm.
So it's important to note that there is no medical exam that can determine this. The belief of the virginity testing has led to harmful practices, as we said. Now it's time to break the stigma surrounding virginity and start talking openly, and why it's so credible that this was shared. It's obviously a taboo subject, but they spoke openly about it on the podcast show. As we said, it's a controversial, harmful practice that has been widely criticized. It's not, and the conversation is, as we said, taboo. There's obviously a lot of awareness about it as well, I do think, but it is time to break this stigma, so it's aware that this conversation is there and it's ongoing.
100%, and this conversation between Lubna and Dr. Salim, it's like one, like you said, it's such a taboo topic. You would not expect it to be spoken about so openly on such a massive platform, but like, this is the kind of change we were hoping for, and we're seeing it now that people are opening up about it, talking about it so freely, and like raising awareness about these kind of things. Because very honestly, I had no idea that these practices were so common until I heard about it. Well, I think it's difficult to determine the actual prevalence of virginity testing in the Middle East. It's
yes, it's there, but now it's been widely criticized by human rights and how common it is, because what happens is it's actually done on kind of, it's performed in secret or it goes unreported. It actually, many countries have banned the practice. I think that's worth noting, that it has been banned in many places, and there is growing awareness and opposition to it.
Yeah, but it's not just the cultures in the Middle East. It's also like all of these very conservative cultures around the world have this in place. Like I was just reading about it, and it's like it's such a common practice, like all over the world. Like families do it, like when they're finding a bride or like their husbands, and like there are just so many ways that a woman is harmed, and that too the ways to find out if the woman is a virgin or not. It's just like it can really harm the woman, like so harmful, and people still go ahead with it because they want to know. They want to know if she's pure, and these are things that are outdated. And if people don't talk about it, if platforms don't openly talk about these things and raise awareness, it's like it just goes, under the carpet.
And then, as Simran said, and as the podcast noted, there's actually no way to determine. So these harmful practices are actually totally unnecessary and won't actually serve their purpose. Exactly. And where can people hear the full show?
You guys can head on to Lubna's Twitter. She shared the show on there, and then you guys can, like, through the link, find the actual podcast on YouTube.
Okay, we're going to jump into our next story, guys. As you know, Dubai Comedy Festival is kicking off, and can I just urge you, please book yourself some tickets. It's going for the next week. It's happening at
Coca-Cola Arena,
Dubai
theater,
Opera,
Emirates.
JBR as well. Sorry? Oh, all of the Emirates. It's happening around Dubai. That's the cool thing. And it's happening a lot. And like, depending on the performer and the venue, I'm going twice next week. It's going to be awesome. And I wish I could get down there tonight to see the opening of Sushi Mango at Okasuko. She's also going to be here in Dubai. She here got to sit with her to hear all about her celebrated comedy and what the night is going to entail for Dubai residents. And it's going to be with us right after this break. Please stay tuned.
This show is brought to you by the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it.